The morning sun painted the fields of New Hanseong in golden light. Su-Jin Lee walked along the edge of the wheat fields, her boots crunching on the dry earth. She carried her scanner in one hand and a data pad in the other. The readings from yesterday still bothered her. New Hanseong was home to 12,000 people. They had built their colony on Aegis Prime over 70 years ago. The planet was perfect for farming. The soil was rich, the weather was mild, and there were no dangerous animals. At least that was what everyone believed. Su-Jin stopped walking and checked her scanner again. The numbers were still wrong. Deep underground, something was moving. The seismic readings showed patterns that made no sense. It was not an earthquake. It was not volcanic activity. It was something else. She pressed the communication button on her collar. "Minho, are you there?" Her younger brother answered quickly. "I am here, sister. What do you need?" "Can you meet me at the research station? I need you to look at these readings. Give me 10 minutes. Su-Jin continued walking toward the research station. It was a small building at the edge of town, filled with computers and scientific equipment. She had worked there for 5 years, studying the planet and its history. Most of her work was boring. She tested soil samples and tracked weather patterns. But these new readings were different. Minho arrived exactly 10 minutes later. He was 25 years old, 3 years younger than Su-Jin. He worked as an engineer for the colony, fixing machines and building new systems. He was very good with technology. "Show me what you found," Minho said. Su-Jin pulled up the data on her computer screen. "Look at these seismic readings from the past week. Something big is moving down there, about 5 kilometers underground." Minho studied the numbers. His face became serious. "This does not look natural. The movement pattern is too regular, too organized." "That is what I thought too." "Have you told Administrator Park about this?" Su-Jin shook her head. "Not yet. I wanted to be sure first. You know how he gets about false alarms." Hyunwoo Park was the colony administrator. He was a good leader, but he did not like scientists who worried too much. Last year, Su-Jin had warned about a possible meteor shower. It never happened, and Administrator Park had not been happy about the unnecessary panic. "Maybe we should take more readings," Minho suggested. "Get more data before we report anything." Su-Jin agreed. They spent the next 2 hours setting up additional sensors around the colony. The work was hot and tiring, but they finished before lunch. That afternoon, the readings got worse. Su-Jin was in her laboratory when the first alarm went off. The computer showed seismic activity unlike anything she had ever seen. The movement underground was getting faster and stronger. She called Minho immediately. "You need to get here now. Something is happening." While she waited for her brother, Su-Jin tried to understand what the data meant. The movement was heading upward, toward Yao. The surface. Whatever was down there was coming up. Minho arrived running. "What is it?" "Look at this." Su-Jin pointed to the screen. "The seismic activity has increased by 300% in the last hour, and it is moving toward the surface. How long do we have?" Su-Jin did calculations quickly. "Based on the current speed, whatever it is will reach the surface in about 6 hours. We need to tell Administrator Park right now." They ran to the administration building. Administrator Park was in a meeting with the farming committee discussing crop yields for the next season. Su-Jin knocked on the door urgently. "Administrator Park, we need to speak with you immediately." Park looked annoyed. "Can it wait? We are discussing important business." "No, sir, it cannot wait. We have a serious emergency." Park excused himself from the meeting and stepped into the hallway. "What is this about?" Su-Jin showed him the data on her portable scanner. "There is something large moving underground. It is heading toward the surface. We estimate it will break through in less than 6 hours. Park studied the readings with a frown. "What kind of something?" "We do not know, but it is big. Very big." "Could it be a natural phenomenon? Underground gas or water?" Minho shook his head. "The movement patterns are too organized. This is not natural." Park was quiet for a long moment. Su-Jin could see him thinking about his options. If he ordered an evacuation and nothing happened, people would lose faith in his leadership. But if something dangerous was really coming, he needed to protect the colony. "How certain are you about this data?" Park asked. "Very certain," Sujin replied. "The sensors do not lie." "All right. I will put the colony on alert status. Emergency teams should prepare for possible evacuation. But I want you to keep monitoring the situation. Give me updates every hour." Sujin felt relieved. "Thank you, Administrator." Park returned to his meeting, and Sujin and Minho went back to the research station. The readings continued to get worse. Whatever was underground was moving faster now. As the sun began to set, people in the colony started to notice small earthquakes. Dishes rattled on tables. Pictures fell off walls. Children asked their parents what was happening. Sujin was at her computer when the final alarm went off. The seismic activity had reached maximum levels. She called Park immediately. "Administrator, you need to order the evacuation now. It is going to break through any minute." But before Park could respond, the ground began to shake violently. Sujin grabbed her desk to keep from falling. Outside, she could hear people screaming. Then the earth split open. It happened in the center of town near the main square. The ground cracked like broken glass and something enormous pushed its way to the surface. Sujin watched through her laboratory window in complete shock. The creature that emerged was like nothing from Earth or any other known world. It was the size of a starship, with dark scales that seemed to absorb light. Multiple heads rose from its massive body, each one as large as a building. Its eyes glowed with a hungry red light. The beast had awakened, and it was starving. People ran in all directions, screaming in terror. The creature moved with surprising speed for something so large. Its head swept back and forth, and wherever they touched, things disappeared. Buildings, vehicles, crops, everything was consumed. Sujin realized with horror that her data had been wrong. They had not had 6 hours. They had barely had 6 minutes. The beast was free, and New Hanseong was about to become its first meal in thousands of years. The beast had been destroying New Hanseong for 3 days. Half the colony was gone. Buildings that had stood for decades were now nothing but empty ground. The creature moved through the town like a living storm, consuming everything in its path. Sujin crouched behind the remains of the school building. Her clothes were torn and dirty. She had not slept properly since the beast emerged. Around her, other survivors hid in basements and underground tunnels. Everyone was afraid to make noise. The evacuation ships could not land. Every time a ship approached the planet, the beast released some kind of energy field. The ships lost power and crashed. 12 rescue attempts had failed. The colony was trapped. "Sujin, where are you?" Minho's voice came through her radio. "Very quiet. I am near the old school." "Where are you?" "In the underground storage area beneath the market. I found something important. You need to see this." Sujin looked around carefully. The beast was on the other side of town, destroying the residential district. She could hear the terrible sounds of buildings being crushed. She had maybe 10 minutes to reach her brother. She ran through the empty streets, staying close to walls and hiding behind wrecked vehicles. The town she had known all her life was unrecognizable. Everything was broken or gone. The entrance to the underground storage area was hidden beneath a pile of rubble. Sujin climbed down a metal ladder into darkness. Minho was waiting with a flashlight and several other survivors. "Look at this," Minho said. He led her to the back wall of the storage room. "I was trying to dig a deeper hiding place when I found this." The wall was not made of concrete like the rest of the building. It was made of stone with strange symbols carved into it. The symbols glowed faintly in the darkness. "This is not human construction," Sujin said. "This is much older." Dr. Yoonjae Kim stepped out of the shadows. She was the colony's head archaeologist, an elderly woman who had studied ancient civilizations for 40 years. Sujin was surprised to see her alive. "I have been studying these symbols for 2 days," Dr. Kim said. "They tell a story about the creature above us." "What kind of story?" Sujin asked. Dr. Kim touched the stone wall gently. "The people who lived here before us called it the Eternal Sentinel. It was not a destroyer. It was a guardian. A guardian? Minho looked confused. That thing is killing everyone. Because it is starving, Dr. Kim explained. The symbols describe a symbiotic relationship. The ancient people fed the sentinel with energy and consciousness. In return, it protected their world from cosmic threats. Sujin studied the symbols more closely. Some of them looked like star maps. Others showed the creature in different forms, sometimes peaceful, sometimes aggressive. What happened to the ancient people, she asked. I think they all died in some kind of disaster. The sentinel went to sleep underground, waiting for its caretakers to return. But they never did. It has been sleeping and starving for thousands of years. Until we woke it up, Sujin said quietly. Dr. Kim nodded. Our mining operations and construction projects disturbed its sleep. It emerged hungry and confused. It does not understand that we are not its enemies. The ground shook above them. The beast was getting closer. They could hear its movement through the ceiling. Is there a way to communicate with it? Minho asked. Dr. Kim pointed to more symbols on the wall. The ancient people used a neural interface. They connected their minds directly to the sentinel's consciousness. Do we have that technology? No, but we might be able to build something similar. The symbols show the basic principles. Sujin felt a spark of hope for the first time in days. How long would it take? If we worked together, maybe 2 days. But we would need someone willing to make the connection. What do you mean? Dr. Kim's expression became very serious. The interface requires complete neural integration. The person who connects with the sentinel would share their consciousness with it permanently. They would essentially become part of the creature. The room became very quiet. Everyone understood what that meant. Whoever volunteered would stop being fully human. There is more, Dr. Kim continued. The connection works both ways. The sentinel would gain human understanding and emotions. But the human would experience the creature's memories and instincts. It might drive someone insane. Or it might be exactly what we need, Sujin said. Minho grabbed her arm. Sister, you are not thinking about volunteering. Someone has to do it. We cannot keep hiding forever. The beast will find us eventually. But the risk of doing nothing is worse. Everyone in the colony will die. Dr. Kim showed them more symbols. According to this, the interface only works with someone who has experience in interspecies communication, someone whose mind is already adapted to alien thought patterns. Sujin had spent years studying alien artifacts and trying to understand non-human intelligence. She was the most qualified person in the colony for this kind of work. I have to try, she said. No, Minho said firmly. There has to be another way. What other way? We cannot fight it, we cannot escape. Our only choice is to try communication. Dr. Kim began gathering equipment. If we are going to do this, we need to start immediately. The sentinel is getting more aggressive as its hunger increases. They spent the next 2 days building the neural interface. Minho designed the electronic components while Dr. Kim decoded the ancient instructions. Sujin prepared herself mentally for what was coming. Other survivors brought salvaged materials from around the colony. Everyone worked quietly, afraid the beast would discover their hiding place. On the second night, Dr. Kim made a terrible discovery. The symbols showed that the neural connection required not just consciousness, but life energy itself. The human who made contact would slowly die as their life force was absorbed by the sentinel. You cannot do this, Minho said when he learned the truth. I will not let you sacrifice yourself. It is not just sacrifice, Sujin replied. It is transformation. My consciousness will survive inside the sentinel. I will still exist, just in a different form. You do not know that for certain. No, I do not. But I know what will happen if we do nothing. Everyone dies, including you. I cannot accept that. The ground shook again. The beast was very close now. They could hear it, moving directly above them. Sujin put on the neural interface headset that Minho had built. It was crude compared to the ancient technology, but it should work. If this succeeds, tell everyone what really happened, she said. The sentinel is not evil. It is just lost and hungry. Maybe together we can help it remember its true purpose. Before anyone could stop her, Sujin activated the device and walked toward the surface to meet the beast. Sujin climbed out of the underground shelter into the destroyed town. The beast was only 50 meters away, its massive heads searching through the ruins of the library. Each head was as big as a house, with eyes that glowed like red stars. The neural interface headset felt heavy on her head. Wires connected it to a small power pack on her back. Minho had worked for hours to make sure the connection would be stable. Sujin walked slowly toward the creature. Her heart was beating so fast she could barely breathe. Every instinct told her to run, but she forced herself to keep moving forward. The beast sensed her approach. All 6 of its heads turned toward her at the same time. The creature stopped, destroying the library, and focused completely on the small human walking toward it. Sujin stopped 10 meters away from the nearest head. This close, she could see the details of the creature's body. Its scales were not just dark, they seemed to absorb light itself. Strange patterns flowed across its skin like living electricity. "I know you are hungry," Sujin said out loud. "I know you are lost. I want to help you." The beast made a sound like distant thunder. It leaned one of its heads closer to Sujin, studying her with eyes the size of windows. Sujin activated the neural interface. The connection hit her like lightning. Suddenly her mind was flooded with alien thoughts and memories. She saw the universe from the perspective of a creature that had lived for millions of years. The Sentinel's true name was not something that could be spoken in human language. It was a concept that meant eternal guardian of the deep paths. It had been created by an ancient race to protect worlds from cosmic threats, dark entities that traveled between stars, consuming entire civilizations. Sujin experienced the Sentinel's memories of its creators. They were beings of pure energy, who had given the creature both purpose and companionship. For eons, the Sentinel had guarded their worlds faithfully, destroying threats and maintaining peace. But the creators had died out naturally, their energy forms finally dissipating into the cosmos. The Sentinel had felt their passing like a physical pain. Without purpose or companionship, it had fallen into deep sleep, waiting for its creators to return. The connection worked both ways. The Sentinel experienced Sujin's memories of human life on New Hanseong. It felt her love for her brother, her dedication to science, her desire to protect her people. For the first time in millions of years, the creature experienced genuine emotions. Sujin collapsed to her knees as the mental link stabilized. The Sentinel's hunger was overwhelming. It had been starving for so long that consuming energy was now an uncontrollable instinct. "I understand," Sujin whispered. "You are not evil. You are just lost." Through the connection, she began to share more than just memories. She gave the Sentinel access to human knowledge about companionship, community, and purpose. She showed it how humans work together to build something greater than themselves. The Sentinel was fascinated by human creativity. It had never experienced art, music, or literature. Through Sujin's memories, it discovered the beauty of things that served no practical purpose except to bring joy. But the feeding process was taking its toll on Sujin. She could feel her life energy being drawn into the creature's vast consciousness. Her body was becoming weaker as her mind expanded throughout the Sentinel's neural network. The other survivors emerged from their hiding places when they saw that the beast had stopped its destruction. Minho ran toward his sister, but she held up a hand to stop him. "Do not come closer," Sujin called out. "The connection is still forming. It is dangerous." "Sister, you are dying," Minho said. Tears were streaming down his face. "My body is dying," Sujin replied. "But my consciousness is becoming something more." The Sentinel began to understand human language through Sujin's memories. When it spoke, its voice was like an earthquake, but the words were clear. "I remember now," the creature said. "I was made to protect, not to destroy." Administrator Park and the other surviving leaders approached carefully. They were amazed to see the beast talking instead of attacking. "We did not know," Park said. "We thought you were trying to kill us. I was lost in hunger, the sentinel replied. This small one has shown me the way back to my true self. Su-Jin felt her physical strength fading rapidly. The neural connection was consuming her life force to establish the permanent link between human and alien consciousness. I have to tell you something important, she said to the assembled survivors. The Sentinel was created to guard worlds from cosmic threats. There are things in space that want to destroy all life. The ancient people understood this. What kind of things? Dr. Kim asked. Through the Sentinel's memories, Su-Jin saw glimpses of the dark entities, creatures of pure destruction that traveled between galaxies, consuming everything in their path. The Void Hunters, the Sentinel said. They seek worlds. With intelligent life to devour, they will come here eventually. When? Park asked. Years from now. Maybe decades. But they will come. Su-Jin's vision was becoming blurry. She could feel her consciousness spreading throughout the Sentinel's mind like water soaking into sand. The connection is almost complete, she told her. Brother, I will still be here, but different. Part of me will always be human, but part of me will be something else. I do not want to lose you, Minho said. You are not losing me. You are gaining a protector for our world. The Sentinel lowered one of its heads close to Su-Jin. I will guard your people as I once guarded my creators. This is my new purpose. Su-Jin reached out and touched the creature's scale-covered snout. The contact completed the neural bond. Her consciousness flowed fully into the Sentinel's mind while the creature gained permanent access to human emotion and understanding. Su-Jin's body fell unconscious, but her voice now came from the Sentinel itself. I am still here, she said through the creature's voice. I am still Su-Jin, but I am also something more. The beast that had terrorized New Hanseong for days was gone. In its place stood the eternal Sentinel, protector of worlds, guided by human compassion and dedication. But Su-Jin's physical form was fading fast. The feeding had given the Sentinel what it needed to remember its purpose, but the cost was everything that made Su-Jin human. Minho held his sister's unconscious body and wept. Around them, the other survivors watched in amazement as the creature began to repair the damage it had caused, rebuilding their world with capabilities beyond human understanding. Su-Jin's body lived for 7 more days after the neural connection was completed. Each day, more of her physical form was absorbed into the Sentinel's biomatrix, but her consciousness remained strong within the creature's vast mind. The Sentinel worked without rest to repair New Hanseong. It secreted strange materials from its body, substances that were stronger than steel but grew like living tissue. Buildings rose from the ground in hours instead of months. The creature's understanding of matter and energy was beyond anything humans had imagined. Minho spent every possible moment talking to his sister through the Sentinel. Her voice came from the creature's multiple heads, sometimes sounding completely human, sometimes mixed with alien harmonics that made his bones vibrate. How do you feel? He asked on the 3rd day. Different, Su-Jin replied through the Sentinel. I can perceive time and space in ways I never imagined. I see the electromagnetic patterns of every living thing on this planet. I feel the gravitational pull of distant stars. Are you still you? Su-Jin was quiet for a long moment. When she answered, her voice carried new depths. I am still Su-Jin Lee, sister of Minho, daughter of New Hanseong, but I am also something that remembers the birth of galaxies. I contain multitudes now. The other survivors gradually overcame their fear of the Sentinel. Children were the first to approach the creature without terror. They asked it questions about space and distant worlds. The Sentinel answered patiently, its terrible voice becoming gentler when speaking to the young ones. Jiwoo Park, Administrator Park's daughter, worked as the colony's communications officer. She helped establish formal communication protocols with the Sentinel. Through her efforts, the colony learned about the creature's incredible abilities. The Sentinel could manipulate matter at the molecular level. It created atmospheric processors that cleaned the air and regulated weather patterns. It built defensive systems that could detect threats from across the solar system. Most amazingly, it began growing bio-integrated structures that merged technology with living systems. These buildings will last for thousands of years, the sentinel explained to the colonists. They will repair themselves when damaged and adapt to changing conditions. Dr. Kim studied the new construction techniques with fascination. This is beyond our science by centuries, she told Minho. Maybe millennia. But the colony paid a price for these gifts. Sujin's physical form continued to deteriorate. Her body became translucent, then ethereal. By the 6th day, she was more energy than matter. Minho held vigil beside his sister's fading form. She could still speak through her own voice, though it was growing weaker. I am not afraid, she told him. Death is not the right word for what is happening to me. I am transforming. Will I ever see you again? The real you? Sujin smiled, though. Her face was barely visible now. You see me every time you look at the Sentinel. I am in every action it takes to protect our people. I am in every building it creates, every threat it stops. It is not the same. No, it is not. But it is what I chose, and I would choose it again. On the 7th day, Sujin's physical form dissolved completely into energy and merged with the Sentinel's biomatrix. Her human body was gone, but her consciousness expanded throughout the creature's entire neural network. The transformation was complete. The colonists held a memorial service that evening. They gathered in the town square, which the Sentinel had, rebuilt as a beautiful garden plaza. The creature coiled around the edges of the square, its massive body forming a protective barrier. Administrator Park spoke first. Sujin Lee saved us all through her sacrifice. She gave her life so that we could live. Not just her life, Minho said when it was his turn to speak. She gave her humanity to create something new, something that will protect not just us, but all human worlds. The Sentinel created a memorial for Sujin at the center of the plaza. It was a crystal formation that grew from the ground, perfectly clear and filled with swirling patterns of light. The crystal hummed with harmonic frequencies that sounded almost like music. This will be her grave marker, the Sentinel announced, but also her voice. Those who wish to speak with Sujin can come here. Jiwoo approached the crystal hesitantly. Sujin, are you there? Sujin's voice emerged from the crystal formation, clear and warm. I am here, Jiwoo. I am always here. How do you feel about what happened to you? I feel complete. For the first time in my life, I understand my true purpose. I was meant to bridge the gap between human and alien consciousness, to create something new that could protect our people from threats we cannot even imagine. Word of the Sentinel's transformation began to spread throughout human space. Scientists and military leaders wanted to study the creature and understand its capabilities. Some feared it as a potential threat. Others saw it as humanity's greatest ally. The Sentinel demonstrated its protective abilities when a large asteroid was detected heading toward Aegis Prime. Instead of using weapons or explosives, the creature simply reached out with energy fields and gently redirected the asteroid's course. No harm comes to this world while I exist, the Sentinel declared. This is my promise to Sujin's people. More colonists began arriving on Aegis Prime as news spread about the Sentinel's protection. The creature helped expand the colony, creating new settlements with its bio-integrated architecture. Each new building was more advanced than anything humans had built before. Minho became the colony's chief engineer, working closely with the Sentinel to understand its technology. Though he could never fully comprehend the creature's abilities, he learned enough to help other humans benefit from its gifts. You have given us a new future, he told his sister through the crystal memorial. We have given each other a new future, Sujin replied. Human creativity combined with alien capability. This is just the beginning. The Sentinel began sending out scout probes to monitor nearby star systems for threats. It detected the electromagnetic signatures of the Void Hunters, still distant but slowly approaching human space. They will come, the Sentinel warned the colonists. But when they do, they will find something they have never encountered before. They will find a guardian that understands both the value of life and the necessity of protecting it. Sujin's transformation was complete, but her story was just beginning. 50 years had passed since Sujin Lee merged with the Eternal Sentinel. New Hanseong was now the most advanced human colony in known space. The city sparkled with bio-integrated structures that grew like living things but functioned like the most sophisticated technology. Min-ho Lee was 75 years old now, his hair white and his face lined with wrinkles, but his eyes were still bright with curiosity. As the colony's chief administrator, he had overseen the transformation of their world into something beyond human imagination. He walked slowly through the memorial garden where his sister's crystal grave marker stood. The formation had grown, over the decades becoming a beautiful sculpture that reached toward the sky. Patterns of light still moved within it, and Sujin's voice could still be heard by those who knew how to listen. "Good morning, sister," Min-ho said to the crystal. "Good morning, Min-ho," Sujin's voice replied warmly. "How are you feeling today?" "Old, but grateful." "We received word that another colony ship is arriving next week. That makes 27 new settlements under the Sentinel's protection." "I know. I can sense their approach through the Deep Space Monitoring Network. They carry families from Earth seeking a better life among the stars." The Sentinel had expanded its protection to cover multiple worlds in the sector. Its scout probes detected threats across dozens of star systems. When hostile aliens attacked human settlements, the Sentinel arrived to defend them. When cosmic disasters threatened populated worlds, the creature provided shelter and aid. Humanity had gained more than a protector. They had gained a teacher. The Sentinel shared advanced technologies that revolutionized human civilization. Medicine, agriculture, space travel, energy production. Every field of knowledge advanced by centuries within decades. Jiwoo Park approached, the memorial garden. She was 58 now, still serving as the colony's communications coordinator. Her role had evolved to include diplomatic relations with other alien species who sought to understand the Sentinel. "Min-ho, we have visitors," Jiwoo announced. "A delegation from the Galactic Council wants to meet with the Sentinel." The Galactic Council was an alliance of advanced alien civilizations. They had heard about humanity's guardian and wanted to establish formal relations. Some were curious, others were concerned about the Sentinel's power. "I will speak with them," Sujin's voice said from the crystal. "But the Sentinel will remain here. This world is my responsibility." The delegation arrived in ships that were elegant but armed. Representatives from 6 different species requested an audience with the creature that protected human space. They were nervous about meeting something that could destroy entire fleets. The Sentinel coiled in the center of New Hanseong's main plaza, its massive body forming living architecture around the meeting space. Its 6 heads regarded the alien, visitors with ancient eyes. "I am the Eternal Sentinel," the creature announced. "Guardian of these worlds and protector of humanity." The lead diplomat was a being of crystalline structure, who communicated through harmonic vibrations. "We represent the Galactic Council. We wish to understand your intentions regarding the expansion of human territory." "I have no intentions regarding expansion," the Sentinel replied. "I protect what is under my care, nothing more, nothing less. But your power threatens the balance of our region. You could conquer entire systems if you chose." Sujin's consciousness spoke through the Sentinel, adding warmth to the creature's voice. "Conquest is not in our nature. We seek only to live in peace and help others do the same." A representative from a warrior species stepped forward. "You destroyed the Kraylan invasion fleet. 30 ships, eliminated in minutes. The Kraylans attacked human colonies without provocation," the Sentinel explained. "They ignored diplomatic warnings and continued their aggression. I defended my charges. With overwhelming force. With exactly the force necessary to end the threat permanently. The Kraylans will not attack human worlds again." The crystalline diplomat vibrated thoughtfully. "What assurance do we have that you will not turn your power against peaceful civilizations?" Min-ho stepped forward to answer. "The Sentinel is guided by human conscience. My sister Sujin's consciousness lives within it, tempering its actions with compassion and wisdom." "A human consciousness? Inside an alien entity?" "I am both and neither," Sujin said through the Sentinel. I remember being human, but I have become something new. I understand the value of all life, not just human life. To demonstrate this point, the Sentinel created a small garden in the plaza. Plants from dozens of different worlds grew together, in perfect harmony. Flowers that had evolved on opposite sides of the galaxy bloomed side by side. This is what I want for the galaxy, Sujin explained. Not conquest or domination, but cooperation and mutual growth. The alien delegates were impressed but still cautious. They agreed to establish formal diplomatic relations with humanity, but insisted on monitoring stations to observe the Sentinel's activities. You may watch, the Sentinel agreed. But know that I will continue to protect human worlds from any threat, regardless of its origin. After the delegation departed, Minho sat beside his sister's memorial crystal. The sun was setting, painting the sky in brilliant colors that reflected off the bio-integrated buildings. Do you think they trust us? He asked. Some do, some do not, Sujin replied. But trust must be earned over time. Our actions will prove our intentions better than any words. I worry about what will happen when I am gone. Who will help you remember your human side? You have trained good successors. Jiwoo's daughter has your wisdom and my curiosity. The next generation understands both human values and cosmic responsibilities. Minho nodded. I sometimes wonder what our parents would think if they could see us now. They would be proud. We kept our family together, even if in an unusual way. As darkness fell, the Sentinel's body began to glow with bioluminescent patterns. The creature's daily vigil was beginning. Every night, it extended its consciousness across the protected worlds, watching for threats and maintaining the defensive networks. The Void Hunters are closer now, Sujin mentioned quietly. My deep space sensors detect their approach. They will reach our region within the next decade. Are we ready for them? We are as ready as we can be. The Sentinel has grown stronger over the years, and humanity has grown wiser. When the time comes, we will face them together. Minho looked up at the stars, knowing that somewhere in that darkness, ancient enemies were approaching. But he felt no fear. The Eternal Sentinel coiled protectively around their city, guided by his sister's enduring love for humanity. Will you always guard this place? He asked. Sujin's voice carried the weight of eternal commitment. I will guard this grave, this world, and all human worlds, for as long as consciousness exists in the universe. This is my promise to you, to our people, and to myself. The Sentinel settled around the memorial crystal for the night, multiple, eyes watching the stars while Sujin's consciousness dreamed within its neural matrix, forever protecting the people she had died to save, and in dying, had saved completely. The beast that had once devoured her people now stood as their eternal guardian, and Sujin Lee's grave would never be unprotected.